3. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon. I am Rear Admiral Luis del Carpio, Director of the Peruvian Naval War College. At first, I would like to say thank you very much for the kindly invitation. Thank you very much, Sebastian, for sharing with me this possibility. And greetings from Peru to all the attendees. So I will present, they say, the wargaming at the Peruvian Naval War College. So this is the topic of today's presentation. The summary that I will cover is the history of the Peruvian Naval War College and how we started with wargaming here in Peru. The wargaming today here in our courses. Also, I will share with you the academic events that we are right now organizing, my own experience in wargaming, some topics about game designs that we made here, and final comments. So the first topic that I will cover is the Peruvian Naval War College history and the wargaming here. So the Peruvian Navy began with the independence of Peru, but it's very interesting to understand that the Peruvian Navy started during the Viceroyalty. So Lima and Peru was the center of the Viceroyalty of the Spanish area here, and also in that time was necessary to create a school. So in that way, one of the oldest naval academies in this area is the Peruvian Naval Academy. After the independence, we started with the Peruvian Navy as a republic. And in the 20s, in the beginning of the 20s, the Peruvian Navy officers request support in order to modernize the Peruvian Navy. So they told with the president of Peru. Prior to that, the Peruvian Army received a military mission from France. So that was the same request for the Navy. But the president of Peru decided to request that mission to the United States. And that is the reason that we received the support of the United States Navy in 1920 with Captain Frank Freyer. So he was the head of the naval mission to Peru. So one thing that is very important, that in 1925, in one report we found in the historical center here in our Navy, that one report of Admiral Woodward, who was in charge of the naval mission, is the delivery of the war game board, including tactical accessories. And I think that is a key factor that was the beginning of the wargaming, the naval wargaming here in Lima. So this is a picture of the naval mission to Peru in 1923. And you will see a lot of Peruvian and American officers during that time. After that, in 1930, Admiral William Pye, was the chief of naval mission. Also, he was involved to support us to create new regulation in our Navy, the new organization, doctrine, and different topics. But one of the key things was to create the second level of naval education here in Lima. So we had in that time the Naval Academy, but was necessary to create the Naval War College in order to continue naval education after the graduation to the Naval Academy. And in 1930, he was involved with Captain Spears to organize the Naval War College. And this is an aerial view from the area here in La Punta, and you will see the old Naval Academy. And they began with the War College inside the Naval Academy. And that was the beginning of all the military education in the second level. So this picture is from Newport, but I would like to share this image because this room right now is the Naval Staff College War Room in Newport, but you will see how they made the games in that time, and also you see the balcony. The balcony was necessary in order to provide also an aerial view of the floor, and they used in that time chalk. This is another picture of the same room. And this is a room that we have here. So we began to use the same system in the 40s. And here at the War College, we have the same room with the same concept, with the balcony in order to educate the officers. And you will see several pictures that we found here in the archives. And you will see the use of the maneuver board and all the tools to teach and train the naval actions and the control and command of naval forces that was necessary to the second level of education. During that time, not only naval officers participated in the games, also Army officers were included in that fort. And that was the beginning of the wargaming here in this room. I found a very interesting video of the 50s, and I will share with you this video. So in this video, you will see officers from the Army and the Peruvian Navy making some exercises using the floor, and also was very important in that time to create this thinking of joint forces. So that was also, and right now we are making also games together with the Army and the Air Force. And that is the beginning of the joint effort in war. So how is the wargaming today at the Peruvian Naval War College? We have in our programs, we have 5 efforts that we made related to wargaming. We have the first level of education for young lieutenants, that is the basic staff course. It's a course we have normally 3 courses per year. Each course is about 3 months, 3.5, and we receive lieutenants. So we are using tabletop exercises. For the Naval Staff College, that is the lieutenant commander level and majors, we have wargaming also. For the Naval Command College, that is for captains and colonels, We have another type of games. We have the joint games, that this concept also includes the Inter-American wargaming effort that we made here in the region with different countries. And we have security and defense course. And we use crisis games during this course that is normally also 3.5 months duration. We have 2 courses. This is for civilians, but we use crisis games in order to create that the understanding of security and defense in different fields, not only in war. So I will talk about the basic staff course, and then we will cover also the crisis games. That is the last effort that we have here for the civilian. During the 2 years ago, we introduced the use of tabletop exercises. Also, we are using right now the operational wargaming system. I will explain later. But these tools, in order to have a good understanding of different type of actions and also efforts that we have in our Navy, like naval aviation operations, submarine operations, surface, also Marines. Here in Peru, the Marines are part of our Navy, and the Special Operation Forces. So we have here during the curricula, we use tabletop exercises in order to teach the young officers these kind of operations. So you will see pictures that we create scenarios with different charts that we prepare especially for each session. And I will show you this video. I think this video is 1 hour and a half. The duration of this exercise was 1.5 hours, but I compressed the video in 1 minute. And I think this is a good demonstration that the system works. Also, you see all the interaction of the students in order to have a good understanding of naval operations. We start this effort 2 years ago with a modification, a customized version of the operational wargame system, and that the result was very, very good. I think that they finished the course very happy and also involved in wargame, and that was a key factor to change the curricula in order to include inside the curricula the wargaming effort. So I will talk about this course. We have an alliance with the Perry Center in Washington, and we have this strategic direction and defense course that talks also about how to respond in case of crisis, different type of crisis. So this program includes sessions about security and defense concepts, defense budget, international relations, about military equipment. We include in this course also visits to the naval base and different bases in order to provide a good understanding how the Navy works here in Peru. We sent invitations to different organizations from our government and also private sector, and they attend the course. It's for free. And the last part of the course include 2 types of crisis games. One in case of conflict and the second one in case of natural disaster. So I designed both the games that we are using right now. I will describe later one of them, but I will share with you some pictures of the attendees. We include in each class also captains from the Navy, colonels of the Peruvian Army, Air Force, plus colonels of the Peruvian Police. Then, for example, we receive representative of the Foreign Affairs of the State Department, banking, different type of ministers. They sent also one or two participants. The key of this course is to have people that arrive here with different approaches, different backgrounds, and they interact very well in order to create this effort based on the understanding of defense concepts. And they participate in the crisis games, that is a mix also with a matrix game. They provide at the end results, and we make some in one weekend each game that is only 3 or 4 movements. So that was part of the courses that we have in our curricula, but I will share with you all the additional effort that we made for academic events. The first academic event also was last year. That was my dream to organize one day a wargaming symposium. Was the International Wargaming Symposium here in Lima. We received delegation from different countries, and also during the presentations, we have in our auditorium officers from the Army, Navy, Air Force, civilians also. And we invite different experts from Europe, the United States, and the region in order to provide a very good understanding about wargaming and different approaches, and also history. The first panels were focused on the history of the development of wargaming. Also, Sebastian was one of our guest speakers. Thank you for that support, Sebastian. So during the event, we organized this event with 3 days. The first 2 days were panel, but also we use on the right side, you will see the table with the camera over in order to provide the opportunity to demonstrate each game. And we put a camera over the table. Some professors like Sebastian request attendees in order to play and demonstrate the games online. We had a live streaming, and that was a very good event. Also, the third day, we use a big room at the Naval Academy in order to demonstrate more games. The interaction was amazing. Also, some midshipmen and cadets participate in that moment to play the games, also to make some feedbacks. Some officers make feedbacks, and that was also useful for the game designers. So this picture also Sebastian demonstrate here in Lima, the littoral commander. And you see in this picture how the people are happy to understand the concept of different games, and also they have the possibility to play together. I will share with you a very special picture. And I think that in this picture, you will see the speakers very happy, and also Sebastian and some students from the Georgetown University, and Emily Yoder, who was also our speaker. She's alumni and she works for CNA. Dr. Jori Vinges from the Würzburg University in Germany, and Natalia Bogdovich, that is from the Hague University. So I think that with these top game designers, we had the opportunity not also to share the concepts, but also to understand the importance of wargaming and how they use in their own countries the games. So this picture also is very special for us, as host, and also for the Georgetown University, the students, and the students with Sebastian here, that they accept very kindly the invitation. Also, when I would like to share with you, normally you invite speakers. I was talking with Sebastian, and during that conversation, I got the idea to invite the students. And I think that was a very good approach. When I was talking with Sebastian, also I said, I am sure that the next proposal you will never receive. I invite you and also some students to have the possibility to demonstrate their own games here during the symposium. So we had 4 students, and that I think was a very unique opportunity for them in order to demonstrate and foster the effort that they are involved in wargaming in the United States. 2 weeks ago, we had also Timothy Barry. He gave us a presentation at the Naval Academy about wargaming, the operational wargame system that he designed at the Marine Corps University. So the operational wargame system right now is increasing the network. A lot of military colleges are using this operational wargame system. And right now we are part of this group. I think that is also a very good approach in order to make better the game. Last year, we host also the Maritime Planning Symposium. We worked together with the 4th Fleet, the Southern Command, and also the Naval War College. And we receive officers from different countries. And during the planning process, also they play the game in order to evaluate the courses of action. So it was also a good opportunity to make a group of young officers involved in maritime planning process. This effort is to create and prepare young officers to participate in multinational operations like UNITAS, RIMPAC, Panamax, and that is a group of exercises that we participate every year, different countries from the region. And that was an idea of Admiral Polar, who is our CNO. He discussed several years ago in order to organize the Maritime Planning Symposium. And last year we achieved that. So we are preparing for the 2nd Maritime Planning Symposium this year in November here in Lima. So I will share with you my own experience with wargaming. Maybe that will be useful in order to understand that all the opportunities that I have had in the past, create the possibility for me to begin the process to understand and also to use war games here at our war college. So the first experience that I had was in this school. I was lieutenant commander. I attended the junior course as lieutenant commander. So was mandatory also during the course to choose one topic in order to make a paper, a thesis. So, and I choose wargaming. During that year, also here in our library, I found the book of Peter Perla. I received the information and the bad news that he passed away this year, but also I would like to highlight the importance of Peter Perla and his book, not only in the United States, around the world, because with this book, he provides a good understanding of the concepts of wargaming. During my thesis, I proposed a new type of method of evaluation of wargaming for my Navy. And that was a nice time because I spent several hours searching different ways to make adjudication in games, and that was very useful for my career. In 2015, I was selected to be part of the Naval Command College in Newport in 2014. So I am graduate from the Naval Command College Class 2015. And also I had the opportunity to stay the second year teaching as fellowship at the Joint Military Faculty, Joint Military Operations Faculty, no, in 2016 and 15. So I think that was a unique opportunity that I received from my Navy and also from the United States Naval War College, because I had the opportunity to see the education system from both sides, as a student and also as assistant professor. And during that time, when we start the semester, at the beginning, we started with the Naval Command College. Then we have 3 months to prepare for the other level of education, that is the Naval Staff College. And during that time, the United States Naval War College received the order to modify the curriculum, the syllabus, in order to make the Naval Staff College more Navy, not too much joint. And one of the professors there, who was also my professor, Colonel Bill Hartig, he began to work together with Milan Bego in order to find a way to use a better tool for military operations. And they began to talk about the use of tabletop exercises. So I was involved to support that idea, and I also participate to create the little ships. They ordered at the beginning little ships, modern ships, in order to provide a good understanding of the range of sensors, how you organize a task force. And these pictures are of some sessions that we had in Newport in order to teach the students, the concepts of naval and maritime operations. Also, the idea is to cover historical events. So the cases of study was a good way to make that, and they choose some naval action from the past in order to recreate with the students. I support also the group to make the World War II ships and to obtain. So the second, in this slide, you will see the recreation of the Guadalcanal Islands and the Savo Islands. And you see the red and the blue ships. And with these tabletop exercises, I think that I had a clear idea the useful of the games. I remember one of the students was talking with me the first week, and he said sincerely, "Oh, sir, the only thing that I know about the Navy is that the ships are gray." And 2 weeks later, he was talking in a perfect operational language, or describing all the naval actions during the case of studies. And I think that the board games was a key factor to make that possible. So also in Newport, they create some games for the international students. During my first year, I participated in the Naval Command College game. This game was created by one officer. They divide us in countries. Each country have a color, one president, one admiral, one general, one minister of the state department, like to participate in conversations in another room as the United Nations, and also the Minister of Economics, in order to receive the money and put orders to buy military, for example, ships, planes, and also troops. So we participate in the beta test game. We help with that effort to update the rules, and then we play the real game for the second time. And they create a map representing not hexagons, squares, but the NCC Wargame world was based on 4 small countries and 2 big countries. A lot of my friends from the international community participate in that game, including some professors. And also that the participation in 2 games provide me the opportunity the following year to participate as the control group. So the third game, I was with the designer in order to control and the adjudication process. So that was also a very, very interesting opportunity. During my stay in Newport, also they celebrate the Jordan Battle, 100 years. So I participate in that game using they found the rules and all the tactical equipment that they used in the past. They found a box inside the United States Naval War College archives. So they they made copies, and using the original books and rules, they create the game. And we play that game at the war room. So they have today over the floor another type of fabric, but they put a plastic with squares in order to have the same like in the past. Also, 2 years ago, I had the opportunity as director of the Peruvian Naval War College to visit the faculty, and I found that in that faculty, they are using the operational wargame system. So that was the beginning of the process to also to support in one way and also to talk with the professors and with Timothy Barrick in order to have the possibility here in Peru to use the game. So I will talk shortly about some games that we designed here. 3 years ago, I was the cyber commander of my Navy. So we began to realize that it was necessary to create the concepts and ideas about cybersecurity and cyber defense. That was a new approach in the military forces. And that is the reason that we, with the officers, we create a game that recreates the cybersecurity and the cyber defense of two countries. For the civilian course, we had in the past some games. 2 years ago, I designed a new game of crisis and in defense, and then I create this natural disaster game. We simulate an earthquake. We separate the students in groups. They play the same scenario. They roll the dice at the beginning in order to simulate different a different approach in defense budget. So the best receive more ships, more planes, and they use the military capabilities in order to support the population. So they receive the maps, all the 4 groups receive the same map in order to simulate the request of support help of water, food. We use tokens, and we advance the time, and they receive the planes and ships in order with cards to simulate the delivery of support of the area that are in crisis due to the earthquake. So during that game also, we simulate press. We have here in our War College one professional in press, so she began to interview the president of each group. At the end of the auditorium, each president explain the decision of each group and how they face the crisis. So at the end, final comments. I think that war games are a very good approach for education, not only in military education games. You can use to improve the education in different fields. I was talking last year with Natalia Bogdovich from the DEHAC University, and she made a study about the percentage of how many information absorbs each student. And if you have a professor in front of the class only talking, but using some games and the concept of learning by doing, you obtain a better result. So I think that is the value of wargaming. Wargaming for training and understanding concepts are very, is a key thing, in order to maintain the people think about of a specific topics. It's very good to create a good understanding of several topics and also to understand problems, to understand the interaction of groups, like in our crisis game, and the necessity to talk and participate together to design new approaches, new doctrine, or also to understand the work of the other side of another institution. So that is the value of wargaming. In case of talking about how the students at the end, they receive the training of critical thinking. Also, they began to interact and to learn how to work in groups. And that is the value of wargaming. Also, I think that also will agree that it's very good for analysis. And also the key of the analysis to have clear process of obtain data, analyze, and then discuss in order to improve procedures and also different type of documents that are necessary to improve the work in one institution. Another thing that I would like to highlight is the mentors. Mentors are very important in all fields, but I think that in wargaming, we need to have this concept of mentors to guide new people. And I was very happy to see the students of the Georgetown University here in Lima, and the final product after the courses. So they were very proud to explain to me that the games that they are involved to create, they are right now in use in the United States. So was a unique opportunity, and also during the last symposium, all the young officers and midshipmen that attend that event, I am sure that they are right now very involved to learn about wargaming. So it's necessary to mentor the new generation of wargamers. Also, the professional network is important. Normally, you invite, or when you are a speaker in a specific symposium, you gave your presentation and then you return to your hotel. Last year, we spent hours talking with the speakers, playing games, and that made possible to make a network. Right now, we are increasing our network. The professional network is very important to share concepts, to work together in specific projects. And that is the key to growth in a specific field. And I think the professional network is very important in wargaming. And as I told previously, foster the new generation is very important, also to maintain the effort during the years. I was talking with one professor that he's trying to make this impulse in the United States. And he said to me, "Oh, Admiral, I am jealous because you have the possibility to put the games in the curricula very fast." Yes, I say, but we need to maintain the effort. So that is a reason that we need more new and young people involved with the same passion of wargaming. So that was my presentation, and thank you very much for this opportunity, Sebastian, to share with you and the audience some topics, my view about wargaming, to share my own experience, and also to share with you the Peruvian Naval War College and the history.
Thank you, Admiral. I want to thank you first off for sharing your experiences, and I would like to say, my students and I loved the conference, and we were very blessed with how gracious of a host you were, and my students still mention it to me today. So as we go into questions, one of the questions that we have here is, what is sort of the focus of your Peruvian wargaming at the colleges? You mentioned how each of the different levels before in the diagram that you showed, at the college, at the staff college versus the war college versus the civilian demographic, that you have different games. So what are some of the focuses specifically, if you can expand on expand how you use educational gaming there?
So for educational purpose, we start the formal courses that we have are the basic staff course. I present during my speech the basic staff course tabletop exercises, but they started also to learn the planning process. So when you return as lieutenant commander, you continue with a more deeply understanding of the planning process, the naval planning process. So we use also wargaming in order to analyze the course of actions. So during that, this course is 1 year. So during the entire year, the lieutenant commanders are involved in cases of studies and also to make during the planning process the wargaming phase in order to test the course of actions. For the captains and colonels, that is the equivalent of the Naval Command College, we use the next level to understand the strategic and operational decision making in different topics, and we have the joint games. We have for the lieutenant commanders and mayors also, because we have students from different armed forces here, and we have one officer this year, for example, from Argentina, he's studying here, and we have additionally joint games working together with the other schools. But the civilian course is an additional effort that the Navy are making in order to create in Peru a good understanding of defense concepts that help us to share our work and also to obtain support in case of we need something for another institution. Now that is we are focused mainly in wargaming for military education.
So someone here on our end here in the conference room want to ask, you mentioned disaster relief gaming that you're doing. Could you expand on some of the scenarios that you're responding to, whether that's hurricane or disaster relief, how you use gaming, what kind of scenarios you explore with that?
Yeah, so in Peru, the armed forces as a secondary role are involved in case of natural disasters to support the population. So I think that we live here in Peru in an area of earthquakes. The main factor to support the population is to provide as soon as possible and very fast water, food, medical services, also rescue teams. And we have in the Navy planes and ships, and also the Air Force and the Army have some different companies that in case of natural disaster, they are involved in that effort. But one of the problems that we face in the past is some, for example, in the northern part of Peru, we had floodings during El Niño. So a lot of rain when the water temperature increase in front of the coast of Peru. So, and some people are not trained in order to face that. So it's the mayor of the city or the president of the region that receive the elections that opportunity to be the president or the mayor of the city. But in case of disaster, they need support. Peru have a organization that is designed to respond very fast for natural disaster, but they need means. The Peruvian Navy, the Air Force, and the Army provide that means. So in that way, the crisis game is a good game to share how important it is to have a supply ship, for example. We had in the past a very good example of that. The Peruvian Navy bought the Amsterdam, who was the big cargo ship of the Netherlands, and right now is the Tacna, is a Peruvian ship. So we bought from the Netherlands, and we have the ship is a very big ship with the possibility to transport a lot of things and also fuel. And suddenly, Ecuador had an earthquake. So we sent the ship, and also the armed forces in Ecuador were not able to arrive to the area, and the best way was to arrive by sea. So the Tacna provided a lot of support, and the first effort that arrived to that area was by sea, by the Peruvian ship. So we are right now, and Peru organized an international exercise, and the name of the exercise is Solidarex, like to make solidarity with the neighborhoods in case of natural disaster. So we are in the fourth or fifth multinational exercise. Also, in the other side of the Pacific, they are making the same effort, but here in America, with the United States, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, Peru was in charge to create that multinational exercise. So we are using our units in order to support and to train how to support the population, because it's a different role in comparison of war or conflict. So if you have some ships and planes, you can use also in peacetime to support the population. That is the key factor of the natural disaster crisis game.
So one of the questions I have here is, how does wargaming beyond the college fit into broader Peruvian naval war planning and decision making?
So can you repeat me the question?
So outside of the war college in Lima, how does the Peruvian Navy use wargaming to either support naval planning or decision making
Okay.
or procurement?
Yeah, so the wargaming we use also, we have in Peru, underneath the CNO, we have the General Commander of the Pacific and also the General Commander of the Amazon. So my Navy is very a unique and a special Navy, because we have our Navy not only in the Pacific, we have also in the Amazon. We have ships, we have naval bases, and not also in the Amazon, also in the Titicaca Lake. So we are making operations in the jungle and in the Pacific. So the general commanders, the staff use planning process in order to make the not also the preparation and also the execution of some operations. And they include the concept of wargaming. The center of tactical simulation is here in La Punta and depends from the commander of the Pacific operations. So in that way, they continue after to attend the war college, the officers and staff that works under the operational commands, they continue the effort with the wargaming. Also, we have, for example, the surface warfare school, and they are using in that time, in that school, also wargaming, and in tactical games, also at the submarine school. So this is the different, the continuity of the wargaming effort that we start here with the students at the Peruvian Naval War College.
So another thing I wanted to mention is, do you guys, you mentioned some joint and sort of regional wargaming that you do with other regional navies. Do you do other gaming with your partners in the region?
Yes, so we have the Inter-American game every year. So this year, Uruguay is hosting. Last year was Colombia. The previous year was Peru. So we jump every year from different countries. We start the game online, and then they join together in the host nation in order to finalize the game, the last movements, and we have at the end the review of the game. So every year we participate in the Inter-American game in the review with different scenarios. No, we each year the host nation create a new scenario.
For those who are not familiar with that game, could you give some examples of some scenarios in the past?
So they create, for example, they create a specific island with a dispute between 2 or 3 countries that are involved in the conflict. So we play to join together in order to support one effort, like an alliance. So every year is a different scenario. And in that way, we play together from the same side, and the control, the white cell, play the other side. So that is we create every year different type of, it's a maritime scenario. It's focused in maritime operations together as like in an international maritime force.
So someone else has asked, is there any resistance in the Peruvian Navy to wargaming, whether that's faculty who don't have enough time or people who are unfamiliar with it? That's very common here in the US, right? Whether that's in professional military education or for analytical gaming, sometimes it is hard to convince people of the utility of gaming. So we wanted to see if you had similar experiences and how you got around that for yourself in Peru.
Yeah, I think that yeah, we face always that type of resistance, but I think that the key factor is to demonstrate the use of the games. So, for example, one of professor, I was talking with him, and I said we need to use the game, the board game, but we support with the staff here in order to make the scenario, and he play with the students. At the end, he said to me, Admiral, you changed my mind because I saw the result. And also, I think that the same story is if you learn the story of the Kriegspiel, the first military tabletop game, because the officer, the Prussian officer, was able to and he found a way to present the game to the generals. And I remember when I read the story about when the generals arrive and they say, "Oh, you are wasting our time." But after that, they respond, "This is not a game. This is a real preparation for war." And that is the reason that the wargaming symposiums are very important. Also, it's a effort to create the scenarios. I am cutting the way supporting with a group to create the scenarios from different courses here. So this is also because if some professors are very busy and they would like to maintain the same approach teaching in that way without gaming, but you help and support. They say, "Don't worry, we will support, we will create the game with you." And that makes the possibility of demonstrate the value of wargaming. Also, last week, excuse me, during the presentation of Tim Barrick, the Army War College was very involved. I invite them, and they send 100 officers here for the conference. So, and that is a key factor. I think that you need to demonstrate, to organize events, and also to share experiences. And that changed the mind of some people. When you saw something and you see the result, I think that is the key factor.
So you mentioned that you're doing lots of new things with wargaming at the Naval War College in Peru. What are some things that you are setting for yourself as goals or current projects that you're trying to push as initiatives? What can we expect from Peru in the next coming years in terms of wargaming?
I received a call 2 days ago, for example, because one person received the information about the civilian course and the crisis game. And they ask support in order to create a specific game for a specific area. That is not military. And also during the course, I am in charge of one session. And if you have people from different organizations in your country, and you present the concept of wargaming, that opens a lot of doors. Also, 2 days ago, I received a message from Germany, and the man is an expert, and he said to me, "Admiral, I would like to make a game about this topic. Do you know some ideas of a previous game?" And so this is a new door that we can explore to work together to create a new game. So I think that my view of wargaming is to expand in the Peruvian organizations the use of games in order to prepare the people to face crisis, to face problems. I remember when I was in Newport, you have one part of the curricula was the field studies visits. And one day we fly to another state, and when we arrive to that state, we visit the drywall company. And the drywall company, and I was asking why we visit, because normally we visit the Pentagon. In Maine, we visit the shipyard, we visit Harvard, we visit think tanks and naval bases, army bases. but we visit the drywall company in the United States. So, and the captain who was in charge of the class, I think he saw my face, and he said to me, Luis, I saw your face, and maybe you are asking why we are visiting right now the drywall company. Wait until the end of the presentation. And then suddenly the manager began to explain that they were facing 4 years prior to the visit bankruptcy. So the company was ready to bankruptcy. And someone call the War College in Newport and try to obtain the possibility to learn about planning process. So at the end, they receive the support, and after that, they make the analysis using the planning process, and after that, they return and they save the company. So I think that a lot of tools, including gaming, are very useful not only for military purposes. So we need to teach to all the institutions, and that is my dream to create this, to expand this area in Peru.
So one of the other things we have questions here is there how are you gonna explain? Sorry, they're trying to explain to me their question. So I guess the question is, as you work towards integrating wargaming more at the college, what are specific types of gaming, whether that be operational or tactical, or strategic gaming that you want to focus on to help your students be better naval officers?
So we began with the tactical games. That is the first approach. Also, we are using the operational games. We are designing right now the strategy games to create the next level. I was talking with Torsten Kodale, who works at the German college. And one day we were talking together also with Newport, was a video conference. And he explained how he made the connection between the tactical, the operational, and the strategic game. So we have here these games in different levels because it's necessary to change the chip for the next level. So in that way, we have 3 courses here for captains, lieutenant commanders, and also I remember when I was in Newport, I was able to learn about the capstone. So that is the key factor. We need to create a different type of level of games. Right now we are advancing, to create more scenarios in that way. So, for example, in the Naval Command College here in Peru, we have a group, we have 25 students learning the Naval Command College. But the final game, we have 6 professors working with the strategic concept. So they during that game, they are they own together in groups in order to deliver documents. That is the strategic level. So I would like to make the additional effort to create the board game in order to make better that exercise. So that is the approach that we are making right now, this year.
It's exciting, and I would love to see and play when it's ready. That's something really exciting. That's something we are also trying to do more here on the States as we try to push educational war games in like box form to tactical units for education and training. So as I wait for last minute questions from either the chat or from the people in the room, I wanted to ask if there's anything else you want to share with us about what you're doing in Peru, or anything else about your own experiences as a war gamer.
I would like to say that during these experiences that we had here in Peru, especially the last year event, because have the opportunity to join together with speakers, keynote speakers from different countries, like you and Torsten, Natalia. I think that was a unique opportunity of the young Peruvian officers to talk with you, to ask some questions about the game, the purpose of the game, and I think that was the perfect environment to create the interest of wargaming. So right now, a lot of young officers, when I visit, for example, the submarine base or Admiral, I was last year in the symposium and was amazing. It was a great opportunity. So I think that is a better, return and feedback. That I think that when you make something, it's necessary to create the effect. And the effect of the symposium was amazing. So that is the thing that I would like to talk, no, to highlight.
So we want to thank you from everyone in the here in the conference room, and those who have joined us here online, to thank you for your time and your expertise. I think it is always good to highlight wargaming that is happening across the globe. Often much of the literature and presentations are from an American point of view. So it's always good to see how our allies and partners across the globe and in the region are doing wargaming, especially for education, which is a special place in my heart. So I want to thank you again for coming and sharing your expertise with us, and highlighting the good work that the Peruvian Naval War College and its associated colleges are doing for the wargaming community. And I am looking forward to seeing you again later this year, hopefully at NATO Win. And continuing our collaboration from Georgetown and the Peruvian Naval War College. For those who are joined us, thank you again for spending your Tuesday evening with us. And I wanted to pass on congratulations from everyone here in the room who are signaling silently to me their appreciation as well. So thank you again, sir, and we'll make sure to collaborate again in the future.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to say thank you very much to the Georgetown University, because they accepted the invitation last year. Thank you very much for your time, and it was a pleasure to participate. And also, if some people have the possibility to visit here Peru, we are here at the Peruvian Naval War College with the doors open as always for the partners and friends. Thank you.